Okay guys, welcome to Check Your Leader TV, and today we're just going for a little bit of a hobby update. A couple of things I've been working on, and first thing I wanted to talk to you about was these guys. These have been around for a while. There's nothing really new about them, but I think they're worth a look at. These are the French Napoleonic Infantry Battalion 1807 to 14. I sometimes mention 1807 to 1812. It's 1807, 1814. Fantastic box set. There's two boxes in the set. There's the standard infantry battalion box set, and of course there's the elite companies that gives you more of the Grenadiers and Voltigeurs, Carabiniers and Chasseurs if you're going to make them into French light infantry. Fantastic box set. Very versatile. You get this really nice painting guide with it. It's quite large, as you can see. And as with everything with the Perrys, real value for money, especially the plastic box sets. So we're going to be talking about that. The other thing I'm going to talk about is a project that I'm getting involved in. I've just started to re-explore is the American Revolution, the American War of Independence. The rebellion, and the rules I'll be using for that are British Grenadiers. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about British Grenadier and a fair bit about these Perrys, which I think these box sets are probably the most versatile infantry sets that you can get if you are just starting out in Napoleonics in 28mm. A lot of people say 28mm is too expensive. Nonsense. Well, as far as I'm concerned here in Australia, that's nonsense. If you're going to go for really high quality 15/18mm miniatures, then without a doubt, it's AB miniatures all the way. And I think they're about $1 a miniature. These work out about the same. If you buy over £200 worth, 200 British pounds, that's currency, not weight, you will get free postage into Australia, and you also don't pay the VAT. So they're really good. But it works out to be about $14–15 for the medals, and for 6 of them. And for a box set, I think the box comes in at around about £16. What's that? 30? It's less. It's less than $1 a figure, or maybe $1 a figure. All the same, it's the same price for the plastics as it is for AB miniatures medals, and it just comes down to whether you prefer to play an 18mm or 28. For me, I just like 28mm. My little girl's decided to join us. Say hello, Maggie.
Hello.
Okay, so here she is. Ah, geez, the things we do. Yeah, so price-wise, they're pretty much, there's not much in it. I don't think you could use the cost as an excuse to ignore 28mm. The other thing, and the other thing is that the Periplastics box sets, such as this one here, very versatile. This is probably the most versatile Napoleonic box set you can get. Essentially, it says that you get 14 mounted troopers in this box set, but the reality is...
I want to see his picture.
You want to see the picture? There you go.
Wow.
Whoa. Yeah, whoa indeed. Are they nice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The reality is that you actually can create 2 mounted troopers for each horse. So you can create 28 troopers, but you only get 14 horses. But fortunately, the Perrys sell single individual sprues of horses. So now you just have to buy the horses, and that's what I've been doing with these. So out of this box set, I've been able to create 14 chasseurs and 14 hussars. So yeah, huge fan of Perrys, and you should take a closer look at them. So, cracking on.
Okay, so let's look at the Periplastics French infantry, 1807 to 1812, if I remember correctly. That's the title of the box. You get, there's two types of boxes. One is elite companies, and one is basically just a normal battalion box. The elite company box, you just get more of guys that you can convert into Grenadiers or Voltigeurs. And then, of course, you get a command sprue. That's an example of what I've done with my command sprue. There's a variety of options. The Eagle Guards, Porte-Église, they can have bear skins, they can have just standard shakos. There's options for bear heads, guys with the police cap on. The axes have little fanion, little flags that you can glue to them, plastic ones. But in the painting guide, there's also I think there's a couple that you can cut out, just like the flags. This is a really excellent box set because it enables you not only to build French troops, but well, not all, but many of the allies, the Italians, Neapolitans, and the like. And there's painting guides on for those foreign troops, those non-French troops, in the box set. Now, typical Perrys, you can augment or supplement the plastics with metals, and so what I did is I bought some metal miniatures as well from the same period, and you can see here that they match perfectly well. A very good match. The plastics appear to have more detail on them, but actually that's just a trick of the light. The metals are just as detailed, if not more so. My intention with these guys is I'm going to get a couple of elite company box sets. I'm going to create Italian Guard Grenadiers and Guard Chasseurs out of it, and also conscript Chasseurs. So, like for example, all these guys here that I've put together at the moment, these are all going to be Italian Royal Guard. So the conscript, I think they were called conscript Chasseurs. They were like the light infantry of the Royal Guard for the Italians. Chaps like this will become my Italian Guard Grenadiers, Guard Chasseurs, Velite Grenadiers, and Velite Chasseurs of the Italian Guard. The Italian Guard is an interesting force to look at if you're a Napoleonics player. You don't often get opportunities to use French Imperial Guard in battles because obviously they were held back in reserve. But the Italian Royal Guard looks, well, the uniform is identical for the Grenadiers and the Chasseurs, and the Velite Grenadiers and Velite Chasseurs. It's just you replace blue with green, except for the Velite battalions. They were white, so they look a little bit like the third Imperial Guard Grenadiers, or the Dutch Guard. So that's my project, what I'm working on at the moment in regards to Napoleonics. This, together with busy trying to put together 8 battalions of Young Guard, and obviously I don't have plenty of Young Guard miniatures. I have ordered some more from the Perrys, but I'm also going to use guys in greatcoats, because one thing I've got no shortage of is French in greatcoats, and particularly ones with epaulets. So I'm going to turn those guys into Young Guard. There's a fantastic painting, which I'll insert here, of showing by Keith Rocco of the Young Guard fighting at Plassouin at the Battle of Waterloo. And so, yeah, greatcoats are plenty for those chaps. So my Napoleonic focus at the moment is building Italians and Neapolitans and Young Guard. This is the painting guide that comes with the French 1807 to 1814 set. I mean, it says 1814. It's the uniforms that are included are predominantly were due to be phased out in 1812, if I'm not mistaken, the long tail. But clearly a lot of these long-tailed coats remained in service right up until Napoleon's initial abdication. So yeah, these are perfectly acceptable. As you can see here, the painting guide is very comprehensive. It shows even the French regiments that were in white for a very short time in 1806 to 1807. And all the details that you need on the types of plumes that elite companies had. The great thing about the 1807 to 14 period is the individual regiments really did have a little bit of individuality about them. And that was normally, you can normally notice it amongst the musicians and the sapeurs, and also in the elite companies like the Voltigeurs and the Grenadiers. You could easily use this set as well. It's adaptable for French light infantry, so there's no problems with that. But like I said, I'm going to use these. I picked up 4 box sets, and by getting some additional command sprues, again, that's a thing that I love about the Perrys. You can buy individual command sprues. As a consequence of that, from one box, I can normally create 2 battalions just by getting an additional command sprue. That's the real flexibility with the Perrys. I'm going to be building Italians and troops from Naples, Neapolitan. So Italians and Neapolitan troops for me. There's a handy paint guide as well for the Swiss, and this outlines how you can how you should lay out your battalions. So there's that handy suggestion there, even right down to how you lay out your command base. And as I said before, like I said, the little pennants that go on the Portuguese or Eagle Guards axes, they're there. I think it's red on the right, white on the left. Anyway, and of course you get, as usual, French flags, but you also get Italian and Neapolitan flags. So that's really handy. I'm not too sure who else, what other, I suspect that some of the German states might be able to use, you'd be able to use these miniatures for. Certainly some of the foreign troops in French service, the Swiss and the Garde de Paris. Right. So it's a pretty good painting guide. And as with everything with the Perrys, well, this is not a paid promotion for the Perrys, but they are my go-to for everything that I can, what they cater for. I wish they did ancients, but hey, you can't have everything. American Civil War, English Civil War, Napoleonics, you can't go past the Perrys, I don't think. All right, what else am I working on? Just a quick correction. I said the Portuguese were carrying axes. They're actually carrying halberds. Just had a complete brain fade. They're obviously a polearm, so they're halberds. So the other major project I'm working on at the moment, is this British Grenadier. Now this is the original rule set by Eclair, but I was able to obtain this deluxe edition, and in addition to getting that, I've also now am the proud owner of scenarios 1, 2, 3, and 4. So yeah, British Grenadiers. I first came in contact with these rules many years ago, and straight away they took my fancy. They're from the same stable. Well, I think that it's from the same stable of games as General de Brigade, and obviously after that, General de Armée. Anyone who knows me knows that General d'Armée is my favourite set of Napoleonic rules at brigade level, where you're commanding individual battalions. British Grenadiers, the mechanisms are very, very similar, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but essentially you movement is randomized, and you have disruption from movement, from firing, and the key to the game is keeping the disruption off your troops, keeping your troops well in hand, and you can get the most out of them if they're not riddled with disruption. Once a unit takes 4 disruption, they take a casualty. So initially, when you get shot at or when things go bad, the unit suffers disruption. You can take 3 of those disruptions. Once you get the 4th one, you start to take casualties. They really are a very interesting and good set of rules, and this is the key to the whole game. Notes on disruption. Other than that, a lot of the mechanisms are similar to what you would find in General Brigade or General d'Armée. So they are a really good set of rules, and I highly recommend them. Fortunately, the overwhelming majority of miniatures that I have are already painted. I painted up my American War of Independence, American Revolution miniatures quite some time ago. But with everything going on, my discharge from the military, moving around, trying to get settled in one place, my wife herself discharging from the army, then re-enlisting, and now working with the Air Force and soon to be working with the Navy, and her being in New South Wales and me being here in Victoria. Yeah, it's made focusing on that particular project difficult. But I'm now well in hand, and I'm hoping to get my first game of British Grenadier up and going and videoed, and then I'll be able to share it with you guys shortly. The rules themselves, like I said, if you can get the original copy, they're perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the original copy whatsoever. If you can get the deluxe edition, well, good. That's great too. I think there's a gentleman's edition as well, which is really the pretty flash. But I think you'd have to sell an arm and a leg or something like that to get them. You've got to give up your firstborn, something like that. They're very, very hard to come by. But British Grenadier looks like a fantastic set of rules. Now, in addition to British Grenadier, reference materials, as I explained, scenarios books 1 to 4 I've obtained. Another really good reference for playing anything in regards to the American War of Independence is Black Powder's supplement called Rebellion. This is a fantastic supplement. Even if you don't play Black Powder, and Black Powder are a great set of rules, I think. I just think you get a little bit more chrome and it's a little bit more period feel with British Grenadier. That said, if I wasn't playing British Grenadier, Black Powder would be my go-to. And the advantage with Black Powder is it's one set of rules, so it fits multiple periods. But this supplement is a particularly good one, and I highly recommend it. Not only does it give you all the rules, amendments and the like for playing the American Revolution, the American War of Independence, using the Black Powder rules. There's something like 20 odd scenarios, if I remember correctly. Scenario. Well, there they all are. I mean, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, 19 or 20 scenarios in the book. You also get details on the forces of the Crown, forces of the Rebellion, the French Army, Indians. Nothing on the Spanish. But hey, they're there for you to find elsewhere, I guess. It has a very handy introduction. It talks about the historical background to the war, or the rebellion, or the revolution. So many ways you can annoy people with it. You call it American Revolution and they'll tell you, no, it's the War of Independence. You call it a rebellion, they'll say, no, it's a revolution. You call it a revolution, they say it's, yeah, it goes on. Anyway, areas of concern, like for operations, Forces of the Crown. It covers all manner of tells you about the infantry, the cavalry, the artillery, the guards, uniform details, tactics, how they operated in battle. But what I found particularly useful in here is it's a breakup of what regiments served and their facing colours, like how you would go about painting them. That's really handy. In regards to the British regiments, the Brigade of Guards, the 3rd all the way through 31st, the 60th Royal Americans, 17th and 16th Light Dragoons, the Marines. It'll tell you their facing colour, their period of service, when they were involved, and some of the battles and campaigns that they were involved in. And so that makes getting your forces together for a particular campaign particularly easy. You just go to this matrix and away you go. Also covers the Hessians or German troops, Brunswickers, Loyalist troops as well are included. And then, of course, you've got all these fantastic details in regards to the Continental Army, the militias, and the like for the Patriots. All the details for the scenarios are included. Point of note is that this, because the American War of Independence, sometimes the units, there's very few units involved, so they'll break them down into divisions. And by divisions, I mean divisions with a little d. So two companies from a battalion could form a division. And so sometimes in these scenarios, you'll find situations where you're maneuvering divisions, just a pair of companies. They're the forces that you're moving around. So not so much battalions, but battalions that are broken up into divisions and the like. And there's also reference, you can't forget, reference to the Native Americans who fought for both the Crown and for the Patriots, or revolutionaries, Americans, good guys, bad guys, whichever way you want to look at it. Full of fantastic eye candy, and the scenarios are great. So that's really worth investing in if you can get a copy. I think you can even get it as a PDF from Warlord Games. So yeah, I'd really give that some consideration if the American Revolution is your thing. From Old Glory, I got these books quite some time ago. The American War of Independence, A Guide to Armies of the American War of Independence, by a guy called Greg Novak. Book 1 and Book 2. Like I said, the only place I'm aware that you can get these from is from Old Glory in the US, but maybe you can get them elsewhere. These are quite, like I said, they're very interesting books if you want to get into the minutia. And it gives you information on what regiments and battalions fought where, when, and their numbers. So these are quite good reference material as well. And of course, for painting guide, Don Trioni's Soldiers of the American Revolution, another fantastic book, full of very, very interesting little tidbits and fantastic artwork. So just some of the kind of detail that you can expect within this book. And if you're going to be painting your miniatures, some really good inspirational stuff. And there's the great man himself, George Washington. What a man. What an amazing individual. Anyway, so this is a really, really fantastic book, and I would again recommend that to you. If you can get a copy, don't ask me where you get it from. I'm pretty sure you should be able to find it fairly easily. So that's my reference materials for American Revolution. Now, miniatures, predominantly I'm using Perry's with some old Wargames Foundry, which were also designed by the Perrys back in the day. A smattering of Old Glory and some Eureka miniatures as well. So let's have a look at them. So here we are at my paint table. I'll just get that Prussian officer out of the way. He's got no business being there. All right, so what we have here is just some work in progress. Like I said, I've got plenty of miniatures already painted up, but I'm now in the process of basing a few units to make up the units, obviously, and painting up just a few more units just for the sake of completeness. I'll just go through what we've got here. So these guys here are predominantly, give you an example of what I'm talking about. This fella here is a Perry miniature metal, a Periplastic, Eureka miniatures metal, Eureka miniatures metal. Again, what we have here, Periplastic drummer, Periplastic private, a Eureka miniatures officer, and a Eureka miniatures fifer. Eureka do a really good set of what they call ragged continentals. Good example of those guys would be these guys I'm currently working on. I'm currently painting at the moment. That's if I get him in, that's a ragged continental, and by that you can see he's very ragged. It's nowhere near finished yet. Don't worry, this is not. I wouldn't put that on the table. Yeah, but you get the idea. I just wanted to show you what they look like. That's one. Here's one I've been working on, and he is almost ready to go on the table. So that's the Eureka miniatures, and they mix in perfectly well with the Perrys, so you've got no problems there. I've also got a couple of units of Old Glory. So here we go with some Old Glory miniatures. Okay, so the two guys kneeling at the front, they're Old Glory. The two at the back are both Eureka. Yeah, and again, they mix in quite well, so there's no problems there. So yeah, I'm using Perry's predominantly, and Wargames Foundry, and Old Glory, and Eureka. This is some Old Glory artillery. They're perfectly fine miniatures. A lot of people look at Old Glory and they think they're a bit comical, and I agree that they do have a bit of a comical appearance about them. But you know, it's like they at the end of the day, they'll mix in perfectly fine. I've also painted up some Native American Indians, and I'll be using them as well. So here's a unit of Perry's Southern Militia. These are really nice miniatures. I particularly like the old, I think they're called Nervous Militia. I think that's how the Perrys list them, Nervous Militia. Yeah, they've obviously decided that discretion's the better part of valor. But these really are nice miniatures. Native American Indians, mine are a mix of Old Glory and Perry. They mix in perfectly fine. As for my British, like I said, predominantly Perry, but also, like I said, there's some Foundry miniatures amongst these guys. Some dismounted Dragoons. Again, these are Perry, and the mounted variety skirmishing. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. So just a little bit more in the way of miniatures. These are a collection. These are Perry British Grenadiers. As you can see, Perry are very nice miniatures. These are Periplastics. So just having a good look at them here. The officers are metal. The officer waving his hat, he's a metal. These are plastics as well. I think the drummer is metal. Anyway. Again, some more Perrys. These are plastics. Metal officer. The guy closed on. The guy with the hat on with the feather. I think that's a foundry. More Periplastics. So you can see they're pretty nice miniatures. And you can see I've got a lot already painted up, base, but I haven't flocked them yet. Now these are Old Glory 2nd edition. So these are very nice miniatures. And when postage was still not exorbitant, it was worthwhile getting miniatures from the US, but now it's got to a point postage has killed it. Again, Old Glory 2nd edition. They're nice miniatures and they fit in well with the Perrys. So there's no problems with compatibility with either Old Glory or Old Glory 2nd edition. Again, more Old Glory 2nd edition. I think these are sculpted by the same guy that does Sash and Sabre. I can't be certain though.
So I'll wrap it up there. That's pretty much it. That was just a quick update to let you guys know what I'm working on. I'm hopeful that the next video battle report I'll be able to upload will either be a British Grenadier game or another General d'Armée game. But that's it for now, I guess. I'll just wrap it up there. If you've got any comments, feel free to post. If you've got some questions, again, feel free to do so. And as always, like, share and subscribe. Subscribing's kind of handy. It gives me at least a good indication of if what I'm doing is worthwhile here for the audience. I mean, I'm going to do these videos anyway because it's a good video journal of my wargaming. So I'll do that regardless. But it would be, I must admit, if I see the subscriptions going up, I tend to kick along a bit more. But anyway, that's it for now. We'll wrap it up there, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Yibakway.